Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We're on episode 229. This is a bonus episode. It's on Sunday, and we are going to finish the bottom of the floating castle island. I have leaves and the cliff bottom. I'm going to start with the bottom of the little island. It's going to be colored in the same tones as this part of the roof, starting with porpoise, and then moving to the two lighter colors. These are all three of the colors that were used on the roofs. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the lightest color. It might just be porpoise and moss gray, but going from lightest to darkest is French Gray 12, Moss Gray 14, and Porpoise 18. So welcome to the channel, and welcome back if you are returning. We are officially now moved on to the second half of the book. And today in the daily review, which I will do later, I will be doing a flip through, and I've already had my husband choose his three favorites, and then I will choose my three favorites, and we will share them with you. It is earlier in the morning. I am wanting to get this done before I start anything else. Yesterday was so distracting. I had envisioned the exact same thing happening yesterday as what is happening today, that I got up and immediately started coloring, and it ended up I did not even get to color until 2 o'clock. So this over here is the shadowed side, and if you wanted to, you have these lines that you could use as somewhat reflective angles, like on a crystal perhaps, and that can help you decide where you can do some lighter areas. But for me, this far left is the shadow space. So the whole thing is going to be dark. I am using medium to heavy pressure, trying to save some time. The two previous videos where I was coloring this page went long because I wanted to be able to talk a little bit more about the pencils, how they feel, how they look, and compare them with some others. So I didn't want to be in a rush. I just took my time, and I made sure to color everything. I'm looking up there now. There isn't a single spot that doesn't have some color except a couple of highlight areas. All right, so that one is finished, and this one I could technically make it be in the shadow, but in my mind it's actually got a little bit of light on it. Because this is the middle of the book, you'll see that I have to take my right hand and hold flat on the right side because of the curl of the spine. So on this particular facet of the island bottom, I'm not going to go with the lighter color yet. You'll see that I am achieving a lighter color compared to this in total shadow by just using a little bit lighter pressure. And then of course this under here, right under the grasses curling over, I am going to be a little bit dark And then we do have some leaves hanging down, some foliage. So I'm going to leave that facet alone. Let's do this dark facet here. I did assemble my new little end table. I have been using a suitcase, a decorative suitcase, for the last almost 2 years. Okay, so there's that facet. And I believe I am going to set this down and introduce our middle tone, moss gray. I am not like in tune with these colors yet. So as far as pressure goes, I am now doing light pressure. These lighter colors, it's a little more difficult to get a really smooth coverage, as you can probably see. If I want to lighten this up, I will go back with a large eraser and I will lighten that up a little bit. This one I definitely want to be lighter in my world. This facet of the island is exposed to light. I don't really need, since this is a hard earth surface, it could have texture to it. So I am okay with adding some texture bits and leaving it not super smooth. But I do want the colors to be somewhat random and look natural. Okay, so this was all done in the moss. Okay, this one will have some darker up at the top, but it is also going to be light. See, I've actually got, I try to rotate my pencils somewhat so that I'm keeping the tip even. I don't have a big angle that I wore into the tip. Okay, now I'm going to just take this color and try to get some shadows up and around the leaves. Even this, I would like a little shadow on this side. Now what I want, going back to the porpoise, so that's my left. I'm just hitting everything. This is going to be dark. And this has a lot more foliage, so it is going to be in shadow, a lot of it. And then we'll move right on to the green. So while I'm working on this last darker bottom facet, I was going to talk about the green grass. For me, I would want the grass to be darker all over, but I also want to show what the highlight colors, the very lightest colors, look like. And so I am thinking I will do a little bit at the end after we get the leaves done. I'll darken that green a little bit, but not a ton. So that way I have the full range of the greens, the darks to the lights showing. So the whole image I actually left, I would say, a little bit lighter. If I were doing this with regular colors, I probably would go darker, a little bit darker on everything. But in the spirit of using these pencils and their lightest tones that they come with, I am going to go ahead and leave the grass a little lighter. I am going to do a little lighter pressure here to blend in, and then I'm going to do this little bottom part with the moss gray, number 14. Colors will of course be in the description. There's a little shadow there. All right, that is our bottom, and now I have every green pulled to play with these leaves and attempt to get some different tones. Let's see how we do. So 3 lights, totally different. Seafoam green, mellow sage, and pale apple. And then I have right next to these 3 light greens, I have 3 darks. That's it. I don't think I have many middle tones. So this is what we have to work with: seaweed, bayberry, and pine green. And I have not... There are 3 shapes of leaves, and so I'm just going to start with seaweed on all of these bigger, broad leaves. I'm going to have to use my cheat sheet to remember which colors I did the grass. Okay, the dark broadleaves done. Grabbing bayberry. Bayberry is a bluish green, and I'm gonna do these thin leaves. And there's no logic. I haven't even swatched these. I'm looking at the swatch sheet, but I haven't actually put them to paper today. The swatch was done long ago. And then this can also Okay, the third color of green is pine green. I think that's what the grass is done with. All right, the three darks are done. I have the three lights here. I grabbed one. Seafoam green. Seafoam green will be the big broad leaves. I'm doing medium to heavy pressure. Moving to Mellow Sage 55. So as I said, in this case, I don't have a middle green. I just have those very darks and the very lights in this set. Because the bayberry is so dark, it is making me do kind of medium heavy pressure. And then I'm going to set that aside. The third green is pale apple, which is just going to be, I haven't even sharpened this one. It's just these two. A seaweed. Just gonna go back in here. Make sure these are dark as they should be. They are behind, so they need to be a little darker. All right, let's see if I have a note for my grass green. Grass green 63, 55, 54. I am looking for, oh, here's the middle tone for the grass that I said I'd like it a little darker, but not much darker. Just try to make sure. And then I do have my slightly fluffy look. All right, Hub got up and is off on his morning excursion. So, let's see. I see I was working on the grass, but I see some, let's see, bayberry is the color for, I just see a couple of spots that where the black line is, in certain spots there's some resist. So I have to really make sure that I get full coverage, especially in these shadow spaces. Okay, back to moss. Let's find the moss. Interesting. Oh, that's so funny. There's a fourth green. So I showed you these, pale apple, mellow sage, and seafoam green. But I know I'm looking for the moss green. I think the moss might be this. Yeah, moss gray. And it looks very gray, but it's actually green. So I am just doing one last pass through this grass to get a little more texture. There, I think I like that better. A couple of little resist marks in the back shadow area that we want to be all shadowed. All right, next I just have, there's a pipe here and a pipe there. I'm going to rotate around to the coppery tones. This is Amaretto 71. And that's just that little bit. I believe, and you didn't get to see the second one. So we are finished, and I am going to go get ready for the weekly review. And so I'll see you guys very soon. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing, and thanks so much for watching.